The private investigator smells like cigarettes and bad decisions. He sits across from me in this diner booth. Some forgettable place off Route 27 where the coffee tastes like dishwater and the fluorescent lights hum with the frequency of a migraine. His name is Dennis something. I've already forgotten his last name because it doesn't matter. Nothing matters except the manila folder he's sliding across the table. Mrs. Sterling, he says. His voice is gravel. I found him. My hands don't shake. That's the first thing I notice. 5 years of sending $300 every month to a woman who calls me dear, while bleeding me dry, and my hands are steady as I reach for the folder. Where? I ask. Dennis leans back. The vinyl booth squeaks. That's the thing. He's not in a grave. 5 words. He's not in a grave. The diner doesn't stop. The cook still flips eggs on the griddle. The waitress still refills coffee for the truck driver 3 booths down. The world continues spinning while mine detonates. Say that again, I whisper. Julian Sterling. Your husband. Declared dead August 14, 2020. After a sailing accident in the Caribbean. Dennis taps the folder. He's alive. Living in his mother's basement in Southampton. Has been for 5 years. I open the folder. The first photo is recent. Timestamp shows it was taken 4 days ago. Julian stands in a driveway, wearing khaki shorts and a polo shirt that probably costs more than my monthly rent. He's tan. Fit. Laughing at something on his phone. He looks better than he did at our wedding. The second photo shows him carrying groceries into a cottage. I recognize that cottage. The faded blue shutters. The overgrown rose bushes. The mailbox where I've sent $1,825 over 60 months. Beatrice's house. My mother-in-law's house. The house where she told me last week she couldn't afford heating oil. How long have you known? My voice sounds distant. Clinical. Like I'm auditing someone else's catastrophe. 3 weeks. I wanted to be sure before I brought you evidence. Dennis pulls out another photo. This one shows Julian and Beatrice in the kitchen, visible through a window. They're drinking wine. Expensive wine. The kind that comes in bottles with French labels and 3-digit price tags. I'm still staring at the photo when Dennis says, "There's more." He shows me bank statements. The Thorn Heritage Fund, the offshore trust Julian allegedly emptied before his death to pay his gambling debts. Except it's not empty. It has $3.2 million in it. And it's been actively managed for the past 5 years. Withdrawals every month. Sometimes weekly. Restaurants. Designer clothing. A Tesla. First-class flights to Barbados. While I worked 3 jobs to send his mother grocery money. The login activity, Dennis continues, pulling out another document. The IP address for the account access? It traces to Beatrice Sterling's home address. Someone's been managing this trust from her basement. Someone with Julian's biometric thumbprint authorization. I set down the photo. My coffee has gone cold. I haven't touched it since Dennis sat down, but I wrap my hands around the mug anyway because I need something to anchor me to reality. How much have I sent her? I ask. Dennis already has the math ready. 60 months at $300 per month. $18,000. $18,000. I think about the apartment I live in, the one with the leaking faucet I can't afford to fix, the one where I sleep on a mattress on the floor because furniture is a luxury for people who aren't subsidizing dead men. I think about the mall where I scrub floors 4 nights a week, coming home at 2 a.m. smelling like industrial cleaner. I think about the forensic audit work I do during the day, staring at spreadsheets until my eyes burn because overtime pays $47 an hour and I need every dollar. I think about Beatrice's voice on the phone last Tuesday. "Sloan dear, I hate to ask, but the cupboards are so bare. Could you possibly send a little extra this month? Just 50 more? The winter is so hard on an old woman alone. An old woman alone. Alone except for her dead son living in her basement, drinking $200 bottles of wine with money he stole from the trust one thought was empty. Does he know you found him? I ask. No. I've been careful. Telephoto lenses. No direct contact. Does anyone else know? Just you and me. I close the folder. Slide it back across the table. Dennis frowns. Mrs. Sterling, I have more evidence. Transaction records. Photos from the past 3 weeks. I can. I don't need more evidence. I stand up. Pull 3 $20 bills from my wallet, money I'd saved for this week's payment to Beatrice, and drop them on the table. I need you to stop investigating. Stop. Stop. Delete your files. Forget you ever found him. I lean down, meet his eyes. Can you do that? Dennis looks at the cash. At me. At the folder. Yeah, he says slowly. I can do that. But why would you? Because if he knows I know, he'll run. And I don't want him to run. I pick up my purse. I want him to think he's safe. For just a little bit longer. Dennis nods. Pockets the money. How long? As long as it takes. I walk out of the diner. The door chimes behind me. A cheerful little bell that sounds obscene after what I just learned. My car is parked under a streetlight that flickers like a dying heartbeat. I sit behind the wheel. Don't start the engine. Just breathe. 1,825 days. That's how long I've been a widow. How long I've worn black to family functions and accepted sympathetic casseroles from neighbors who thought I was brave for moving forward. How long I've paid for Julian's freedom with money earned from scrubbing other people's dirt off linoleum floors. My phone buzzes. A text from Beatrice. Sloan, dear. Just checking if this month's help is coming soon? The electric bill arrived and I'm quite worried. Love you. B. I stare at the message. At the word love. At the casual cruelty of a woman who's been cashing my checks while her son, my supposedly dead husband, drinks wine in her basement. I type back. Of course, Beatrice. I'll send it tomorrow. How much do you need? 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Would $350 be possible? I know it's more than usual, but the bills have been dreadful. I smile. It doesn't reach my eyes. $350 is perfect. I'll mail it first thing. I put the phone down. Start the car. Drive home through streets I've memorized over 5 years of exhaustion. And I start planning. If you've ever given everything to someone who gave you nothing but lies, subscribe. Because what Sloan does next isn't just confrontation. It's forensic precision. And Julian has no idea that the widow he created is about to audit his entire existence. The first job starts at 6 a.m. I'm a forensic auditor for Hartwell & Associates, a mid-tier firm in Manhattan that specializes in finding money people don't want found. Offshore accounts. Shell corporations. The financial architecture of divorce, fraud, and inheritance disputes. I'm good at it. Better than good. I can look at a spreadsheet and see the shape of a lie. The pattern of someone moving money to hide it. The specific rhythm of theft. It's ironic, really. I've spent 5 years finding hidden assets for other people while completely missing the $3.2 million hidden in my own husband's empty trust. My desk is in a gray cube on the 14th floor. No window. No plants. Just 3 monitors, a mechanical keyboard, and an ergonomic chair that still makes my lower back scream by lunchtime. Today I'm auditing a tech executive's financials. His wife thinks he's hiding cryptocurrency. She's right. I find it in 47 minutes. $890,000 in Bitcoin, split across 6 wallets, purchased using a business expense card he categorized as IT infrastructure upgrades. I document everything. Transaction timestamps. Wallet addresses. The correlation between his business trips to crypto conferences and the wallet activity spikes. By 9:30 a.m., I've given his wife enough evidence to take half of everything he thought he'd hidden. By 10 a.m., my eyes are burning from the blue light. I take my lunch break at my desk. A granola bar and black coffee. The coffee is free, the break room pot, burnt and bitter. The granola bar cost $1.47 at the bodega on the corner. I buy them in bulk because they're 210 calories each and that's enough to keep me functional until dinner. Dinner is usually rice. Sometimes with an egg if I've had a good week. I used to cook. Before Julian died, before I thought he died, I made elaborate meals. Braised short ribs. Homemade pasta. Desserts with French names I had to look up pronunciation guides for. Now I eat standing up over the sink because sitting down to eat alone feels like admitting something I'm not ready to admit. The second job starts at 6 p.m. I take the subway from Midtown to a data entry firm in Queens. The company is called Apex Solutions, which is corporate speak for We process insurance claims that actual insurance companies don't want to process. My job is simple. Take scanned handwritten claim forms and type them into a database. 8 hours. 400 claims per shift. $22 per hour. The office is fluorescent bright and silent except for the clicking of keyboards. 23 of us sit in rows, typing. No one talks. No one makes eye contact. We're all here because we need the money, and we've accepted that needing money means sacrificing things like dignity and circadian rhythms. My fingers hurt by hour 3. The keys are membrane switches. Mushy, imprecise, the kind that make every keystroke feel like pushing through wet sand. I've developed calluses on my fingertips. Small, hard patches of skin that catch on fabric. I finish my shift at 2 a.m. Take the subway home. The train is mostly empty except for other night shift workers and people who've given up on sleep entirely. I get home at 2:47 a.m. The apartment is a studio in Astoria. 470 square feet. The faucet in the bathroom drips every 11 seconds. I've timed it. The sound used to keep me awake, but now it's just background noise. Like my heartbeat. Like the hum of the refrigerator that's older than I am. I have 3 hours before I need to wake up for the third job. I don't sleep. Instead, I sit on the floor. No furniture, just a mattress in the corner and a folding table where I eat. And I think about the $350 I promised Beatrice. $350 is 17 hours of data entry. 7 hours of forensic audit work. 14 hours of scrubbing mall floors. I do the math. I always do the math. It's the only thing that makes sense anymore. Over 60 months, I've sent Beatrice $18,000. That's 1,200 hours of data entry. Or 720 hours of scrubbing floors. Or 387 hours of finding other people's hidden money. And all of it, every single hour, went to fund Julian's resurrection in a basement I've never been invited to visit. The third job starts at 6 a.m. I shower in cold water because the hot water heater broke 3 months ago and the landlord said he'd get to it eventually. I've learned that, eventually, means never if you're a tenant who pays rent on time and doesn't complain. I dress in clothes that smell faintly of bleach no matter how many times I wash them. I take the bus to the Kings Plaza Shopping Center in Brooklyn. The mall opens at 10 a.m., but the cleaning crew starts at 6 a.m. We have 4 hours to make the mall look like a place where people want to spend money instead of what it actually is. A dying monument to 1990s retail optimism. I'm assigned to the food court. The food court is the worst assignment. It's where teenagers throw milkshakes at each other for TikTok videos. It's where toddlers smear ketchup on tables and parents pretend not to notice. It's where every surface is sticky with the residue of 1,000 meals eaten by people who'll never think about who cleans up after them. I mop. I scrub. I empty trash cans that smell like rotting meat and spilled soda. The mop water is gray by 7 a.m. Black by 8 a.m. My supervisor is a man named Rick who tells me I missed a spot even when I haven't. He smells like cigarettes and stands too close when he talks. I've learned to breathe through my mouth when he's nearby. You're slow today, Sterling, Rick says, watching me scrub a table where someone spilled an entire tray of orange chicken. I'll speed up, I say. You better. We got standards here. I don't point out that the standards include paying us $15 an hour to clean biohazards without proper protective equipment. I don't point out that the mop bucket hasn't been replaced in 6 years and has a crack that leaks dirty water across the floor I just cleaned. I just nod and scrub faster. By 10 a.m., the food court gleams. The floors shine. The tables are sanitized. The trash cans are empty and lined with fresh bags. By 10:03 a.m., a kid spills a slushie and his mom walks away without telling anyone. I'm back at my apartment by 11 a.m. I have 7 hours before my data entry shift starts. I should sleep. My body is screaming for sleep. My eyes feel like they've been rubbed with sandpaper. My back aches from mopping. My fingers are stiff from typing. Instead, I sit at my folding table and I open my laptop. I log into my work VPN. Pull up the forensic software I'm not technically supposed to use for personal matters. And I start searching for the Thorn Heritage Fund. It takes me 40 minutes to find the access portal. Another 20 to bypass the security questions using information only Julian would know. His mother's maiden name, the street he grew up on, his father's middle name. I'm in. The account balance loads. $3,287,492.67. I stare at the number. At the 67 cents. At the precision of wealth that's been actively managed while I've been actively starving. I click through the transaction history. August 22nd. $847. Lou Bernardine, restaurant. August 25th. $2,100. Bergdorf Goodman, clothing. August 30th. $4,200. Delta Airlines, first class, JFK to Barbados. September 3rd. $680. The Grill, restaurant. September 8th. $1,950. Whole Foods, groceries. The list goes on. Page after page of spending. Nothing subtle. Nothing hidden. Why would it be hidden? Julian is dead. Dead men don't need to hide their spending. Except Julian isn't dead. I scroll to the account access logs. Every login is time-stamped. Every IP address is recorded. September 14th, 2025, 3:14 p.m., IP. 192.168.147, Southampton, New York, September 13th, 2025, 10:22 a.m., IP. 192.168.147, Southampton, New York, September 11th, 2025, 8:03 p.m., IP. 192.168.147, Southampton, New York. I run a trace on the IP address. It resolves to 47, Meadow Lane, Southampton, New York, 11968. Beatrice's address. The address where I've been mailing checks for 5 years. I close the laptop. Stand up. Walk to the bathroom. I look at myself in the mirror. My hair is dull blonde, pulled back in a ponytail I haven't bothered to redo in 3 days. My eyes are bloodshot, ringed with dark circles that makeup can't hide anymore. My skin is pale from working night shifts and sleeping during the day. I look like a widow. I look like exactly what Julian and Beatrice needed me to look like. Broken, exhausted, and too busy surviving to ask questions. My phone buzzes. Another text from Beatrice. Thank you so much for the extra help this month, dear. You're such a blessing. Julian would be so proud of the woman you've become. Folded hands, blue heart. I read it 3 times. Then I go to my closet. Pull out the box I keep on the top shelf. Inside, 3 $100 bills and one $50. The money I was going to mail tomorrow. I hold the bills in my hand. Think about the 17 hours of data entry. The 7 hours of forensic work. The 14 hours of scrubbing floors. Then I put the money back in the box. And I start planning something better than payment. Some people work 1 job and complain about being tired. Sloane worked 3 and stayed silent. She sent money she didn't have to a woman who didn't need it. And if you've ever sacrificed everything for someone who saw your sacrifice as weakness, you know why what comes next isn't revenge. It's accounting. Beatrice Sterling has a voice like warm honey and a heart like frozen steel. I first met her at my wedding, August 2018, a small ceremony in a Brooklyn botanical garden that cost more than my car. She wore lavender. She cried during the vows. She pulled me aside during the reception and said, "Welcome to the family, dear. Julian is so lucky to have found someone who understands him." I thought she meant it. I thought the tears were real. I thought the hug she gave me, tight, almost desperate, was genuine maternal affection. 2 years later, when Julian died, she called me at 3 a.m. I remember the sound of her voice. Shaking, broken, gasping between words. "Sloane. Oh, Sloane. They found the boat. They didn't find Julian." I remember driving to her cottage. The sun was coming up when I arrived. She met me at the door in a nightgown, her face puffy from crying, her hands trembling as she reached for me. We cried together. We planned the memorial service together. We stood side by side while a priest talked about eternal rest and God's plan and all the meaningless words people say when someone drowns in the Caribbean and the ocean doesn't give back the body. 3 weeks after the memorial, Beatrice called again. "Sloane, dear, I hate to bother you. I know you're grieving too. But Julian's life insurance. There seems to be a complication. The policy won't pay out without a body. And in the meantime, I'm drowning in bills. The mortgage, the utilities, the medical expenses for my heart condition." Her voice broke on heart condition. I sent her $500 that week. Then $300 the next month. And the month after that. And every month for 5 years. The pattern was always the same. Week 1. Silence. Week 2. A casual text. How are you holding up, dear? Week 3. A gentle reminder. The bills are piling up. Winter is so hard. Week 4. Desperation. I don't know what to do. I hate to ask, but... And I always sent the money. Because what kind of daughter-in-law lets her dead husband's mother starve? Except she wasn't starving. I know that now. I'm looking at photos Dennis gave me before I told him to stop investigating. Not the ones showing Julian alive. I've memorized those. These are different. These are surveillance photos of Beatrice's daily routine. Photo 1. Beatrice at Whole Foods, pushing a cart full of organic produce, grass-fed beef, and a bottle of wine that costs $80. She's wearing designer athleisure. Her hair is freshly colored. She looks healthy. Vibrant. Nothing like the frail woman who calls me crying about empty cupboards. Photo 2. Beatrice at a salon in East Hampton. The sign in the window advertises highlights starting at $300. She's walking out with a shopping bag from the boutique next door. The kind of boutique that doesn't have price tags because if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Photo 3. Beatrice and Julian having lunch on her back patio. They're both laughing. There's a spread of food on the table. Charcuterie, fresh bread, what looks like lobster salad. Julian is pouring wine from a bottle I recognize from the Thorn Heritage Fund transaction history. Chateau Margaux, $500. I zoom in on Beatrice's face. She's not trembling. She's not crying. She's not exhibiting any of the frailty she performs over the phone. She looks triumphant. My phone rings. It's her. Right on schedule, week 3, the gentle reminder phase. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Can't seem too eager. Widows who work 3 jobs don't answer on the first ring. Hello. Sloane, dear. Her voice is soft, concerned. I haven't heard from you in a few days. I was worried. I'm fine, Beatrice. Just busy with work. Of course, of course. You work so hard. Too hard if you ask me. Julian always worried you'd burn yourself out. She sighs. A delicate, theatrical sound. I wish he could see how strong you've been. How you've carried on despite everything. I close my eyes. Breathe. Thank you. I actually called because, well, I hate to mention it, but the heating oil company called today. They won't deliver unless I pay the outstanding balance. It's $780. I've been rationing, wearing sweaters in the house, but winter is coming and I'm terrified I'll freeze. I'm staring at the photo of her in $300 athleisure, holding an $80 bottle of wine. That sounds serious, I say. It is, dear. It really is. I wouldn't ask if I had any other option. But you're the only family I have left. The only person who understands what it's like to lose Julian. I understand. I knew you would. You're such a blessing. Could you possibly help with even part of it? Even $300 would let me get a partial delivery. Enough to keep the house warm through October. $300. The same amount I've been sending every month. The same amount that, according to the Thorn Heritage Fund transactions, is approximately what Julian spends on a single dinner at Le Bernardine. I can do $300, I say. Oh, Sloane. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you. It's no problem, Beatrice. You're too good to me. Julian would be so proud. There it is again. That line. Julian would be so proud. Julian, who is alive. Julian, who is drinking wine in her basement. Julian, who is spending millions while I scrub mall floors to send his mother grocery money. Beatrice, I say slowly, can I ask you something? Of course, dear. Anything. Do you ever think about him? About Julian? About what he would want for us? Silence. Then, every day. I think about him every single day. What do you think he'd say if he could see us now? Another pause. Longer this time. I think he'd say we're doing the best we can. That grief is hard. That we're honoring his memory by taking care of each other. Taking care of each other, I repeat. Yes. That's what family does. We take care of each other. I'm looking at the photo again. At her laughing face. At Julian pouring $500 wine. You're right, I say. That's exactly what family does. I'm so glad you understand, dear. I'll watch for the check. You're an angel. I'll mail it tomorrow. Bless you, Sloane. Bless you. She hangs up. I sit there holding the phone, staring at the photos spread across my folding table. I think about the last 5 years. About every phone call. Every text. Every trembling voice and gentle reminder and desperate plea. I think about the memorial service. Beatrice standing at the podium, crying as she talked about her son. How she'd raised him alone after his father died. How proud she was of the man he'd become. How much she'd miss him. The entire room was crying. I was crying. And the whole time, Julian was probably in her basement, planning where to spend the insurance payout he thought was coming. My phone buzzes. A text from Beatrice. I forgot to mention. I saw Julian's favorite flowers at the market today. White roses. I bought a bouquet for his memorial photo. Thought you'd like to know. Bouquet. She's still performing. Still maintaining the fiction. Still playing the grieving mother while her alive son lives 10 feet below her kitchen. I text back. That's lovely. He would have appreciated that. Another photo falls out of the envelope Dennis gave me. This one I hadn't noticed before. It shows Beatrice's car, a Mercedes SUV, maybe 2 years old, parked in her driveway. The license plate is visible. I run it through a database I have access to through work. The car is registered to Beatrice Sterling. Purchased new in 2023 for $78,000. Paid in cash. In 2023, she called me crying because she couldn't afford a $400 car repair on her ancient vehicle. I sent her $600. She bought a Mercedes 3 months later. I pull up my own bank records. Scroll through 5 years of $300 monthly transfers. Some months $350. Some months $500 when Beatrice had a crisis. Total sent. $19,200. I make $47 per hour doing forensic audits. That's 408 hours of work. 51 8-hour days. Roughly 10 weeks of my life, if I never slept or ate or did anything except work. 10 weeks of my life bought Beatrice a Mercedes. My phone rings again. Different number. I don't recognize it. Hello. Mrs. Sterling? This is Amanda from Apex Solutions. I'm calling because you're scheduled for tonight's shift, but we have a staffing issue. Would you be able to come in 4 hours early? We'll pay time and a half. 4 hours early means leaving now. Means skipping the 3 hours of sleep I was planning to get. Means working 12 hours instead of 8. Time and a half means $33 per hour instead of $22. 4 hours at $33 is $132. I look at the photo of Beatrice laughing with her alive son. I'll be there, I say. There's a specific kind of evil that wears a grandmother's face. That weaponizes weakness and performs frailty while drinking $80 wine in athleisure. Beatrice didn't just lie. She industrialized lying. She turned manipulation into a monthly subscription service. And if you've ever given money to someone who used your kindness as proof of your stupidity, you know why what Sloane finds next isn't just evidence. It's ammunition. The audit happens on a Tuesday at 3:47 a.m. I'm supposed to be sleeping. I finished my data entry shift 2 hours ago. I have to be at the mall in 4 hours. My body is begging for unconsciousness. Instead, I'm sitting on my apartment floor with my work laptop, 3 monitors balanced on cardboard boxes, and a level of caffeine in my bloodstream that would probably alarm a cardiologist. I'm not sleeping because I can't stop thinking about the Thorn Heritage Fund. The trust was supposed to be empty. Julian told me, back when I thought he was alive and trustworthy, that he'd liquidated it to pay gambling debts. Bad investments, he'd said. Sports betting. I have a problem, Sloane. I'm getting help. I believed him because I loved him. I believed him because the alternative, that he was lying, was too painful to consider. The trust was established by Julian's grandfather in 1987. Oil money. Texas old money. The kind that comes with conditions and stipulations and legal structures designed to last generations. When Julian's grandfather died in 2015, Julian inherited the remainder, $4.2 million. By 2018, According to Julian, it was gone. By 2020, when Julian died, I assumed the debt died with him. But Dennis's photos showed recent transactions. Active management. Money moving. Which means either Julian lied about emptying the trust, or someone refilled it after his death. I need to know which. I accessed the trust through a backdoor in the financial management software. It's not technically illegal. I have legitimate audit credentials, and technically, as Julian's widow, I have legal standing to review estate documents. Technically. The portal loads. Security questions appear. What is the name of your first pet? I type. Winston. Julian's childhood dog. He showed me photos once, back when we still talked about childhoods and futures. What street did you grow up on? I type. Meadow Lane. The same street where Beatrice still lives. What is your father's middle name? I type. Alexander. Julian's father died when he was 12. He used to cry about it when he got drunk. The portal opens. Thorn Heritage Fund account balance. $3,287,492.67 last updated. September 15, 2025, 11:34 p.m. My hands hover over the keyboard. $3 million. I click through to the transaction history. The records go back to 2015, the year Julian inherited. I scroll to 2018, the year he told me it was empty. The balance in January 2018. $3,940,127.89. So he lied. He didn't liquidate the trust. He just told me he did. Why? I keep scrolling. Looking for withdrawals. Looking for the gambling losses. Looking for anything that explains where $4 million went. I don't find withdrawals. I find deposits. Small ones. $500 here. $1,000 there. Monthly contributions starting in 2019 and continuing through 2025. I click on one. The source information loads. Transfer from Sterling Family Insurance Settlement Amount. $850 date. March 15, 2020. Insurance settlement. Julian's life insurance. The policy that Beatrice said wouldn't pay out because there was no body. I search for more transfers from the same source. Find them. Dozens of them. Starting 3 months after Julian's death. And continuing monthly for 5 years. Total transferred from insurance. $487,000. The policy paid out. Beatrice lied about that too. I pull up the policy documents. They're in the trust's document vault. Scanned PDFs of the original paperwork. Policy amount, $2 million beneficiary. Beatrice Sterling, mother, accidental death clause. Double indemnity for accidental death contingent beneficiary. Sloane Sterling, spouse. My heart stops. I'm the contingent beneficiary. Which means if Beatrice had disclosed the payout, I would have received notification. I would have had legal rights to contest the distribution. But she didn't disclose it. She collected $2 million in insurance money. $4 million with the double indemnity clause for accidental death, and she never told me. She kept it. Deposited portions into Julian's trust. Used it to fund their lifestyle while telling me she couldn't afford heating oil. I scroll further. Looking for how they accessed the money. Looking for the authorization trail. That's when I see it. The login activity logs. Every time someone accesses the trust portal, the system records. Timestamp. IP address. Device type. Biometric authentication result. I click on the most recent login. September 15, 2025, 11:34 p.m. IP address. 192.168.147 location. Southampton, New York device. MacBook Pro biometric auth. Thumbprint verified, Julian R. Sterling. Thumbprint verified. Julian's thumbprint. You can fake a password. You can fake a security question. You can't fake a biometric thumbprint scan. Which means Julian personally logged into this account 11 hours ago. From his mother's house. While legally dead. I click through more login records. They all show the same pattern. Always from IP 192.168.1.47, Beatrice's address. Always biometric thumbprint authorization. Always between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. 3 to 4 times per week for 5 years. He's been managing his own estate since the day he allegedly drowned. I pull up the transaction details. Start analyzing the spending patterns. August 2025. $847. Lou Bernardine, Manhattan Restaurant, Michelin 3-star. $2,100. Bergdorf Goodman, Men's Designer Clothing. $4,200. Delta Airlines, First Class, Round Trip to Barbados. $500. Macallan Rare Cask, Whiskey. $680. The Grill, Manhattan Restaurant. July 2025. $12,000. Tesla Model 3, down payment. $3,400. American Express, monthly charges. $1,950. Whole Foods. Groceries. $890. Equinox, gym membership, 6 months prepaid. The list goes on. I cross-reference the dates with my own bank records. August 15, 2025. Julian spends $847 on dinner. August 16, 2025. I send Beatrice $300 for groceries. July 3, 2025. Julian puts $12,000 down on a Tesla. July 5, 2025. I send Beatrice $500 for emergency car repairs. The pattern is perfect. Obscene. Almost artistic in its cruelty. Every time I send money they spend more. I pull up the insurance settlement documents again. Read through the fine print. There's a clause on page 47. In the event of fraudulent death claim, the insured party's estate shall be liable for full reimbursement of benefits paid, plus penalties of up to 300% of the claim amount, plus criminal prosecution for insurance fraud. If Julian is alive, Beatrice owes the insurance company $4 million, plus $12 million in penalties, plus whatever criminal charges come with faking a death and collecting life insurance. My laptop screen blurs. I realize I haven't blinked in minutes. I close the portal. Clear my browsing history. Shut down the VPN. Then I open a new document and start typing. I type for 3 hours. I document every transaction, every login, every piece of evidence that Julian is alive and has been actively managing the trust he told me was empty. I document the insurance fraud, the biometric evidence, the IP address logs. I document 5 years of Beatrice's phone calls, texts, and carefully performed desperation. I document the $19,200 I sent while they spent millions. At 6:47 a.m., I have 73 pages of evidence. I save it as Sterling Unfinal PDF. Then I save 3 backup copies to encrypted cloud storage. Then I take a shower. The water is cold, the heater still isn't fixed, but I don't care. I let it run over me until my fingers turn white and numb. I think about Julian. About our wedding day. About the vows he made. About the life insurance policy that named me as contingent beneficiary. About how, if Beatrice hadn't committed fraud, I would have received $4 million instead of debt and 3 jobs. I get out of the shower. Get dressed. Check my phone. There's a text from Beatrice, sent at 6:30 a.m. Good morning, dear. Did you send the check yesterday? I've been watching the mail. Just anxious about the heating oil company. They called again. Hope you're well. Love, B. I stare at the message. Then I type. I didn't mail it yet. I've been thinking about something. Can I call you later today? I need to talk to you about Julian. 3 dots appear immediately. Disappear. Appear again. Of course, dear. Is everything all right? You're worrying me. Everything's fine. I just miss him. I'll call around 6 p.m. I miss him too, darling. We'll talk tonight. Blue heart. I put the phone down. Open my laptop one more time. Pull up the Thorn Heritage Fund. And I start planning how to take back everything they stole. Sometimes theft isn't about taking something. It's about making sure no one notices it's gone. Julian didn't just fake his death. He weaponized it. He turned his own funeral into a business investment. And if you've ever discovered that your entire reality was someone else's con, you know the moment you find the evidence isn't when you feel angry. It's when you feel calm. Because anger is emotional. Evidence is mathematical. And Sloan is very, very good at math. The platinum black card appears on a Tuesday afternoon. I find it while cross-referencing Julian's spending patterns against merchant categories. I'm looking for patterns: restaurants, clothing, travel. Anything that might indicate where he's been, what he's been doing, how he's been living. That's when I notice something strange. Every transaction from the Thorn Heritage Fund goes through an intermediary account before reaching the merchant. A buffer. A wash. The intermediary account is registered to something called JSB Consulting LLC. JSB. Julian Sterling Beatrice. Subtle. I trace the LLC. It's a Delaware corporation registered in 2019, 3 months before Julian's death. The registered agent is a law firm in Wilmington that specializes in anonymous corporate structures. The company has one asset: an American Express Platinum card. No, not Platinum. Centurion. The black card. The card that requires an invitation. The card with no preset spending limit. The card that charges a $10,000 initiation fee and a $5,000 annual fee just for the privilege of carrying it. Julian has one. Or rather, JSB Consulting LLC has one. And Julian has been using it to fund a lifestyle that would make trust fund kids look frugal. I pull the transaction history. The Centurion card doesn't have the same privacy protections as the trust. It's a corporate card, and I can access corporate transaction records through my forensic audit credentials. The past 30 days alone. September 1st to 30th, 2025. Total spending: $47,382.19. I scroll through line by line. September 1st, $127.43. Starbucks Reserve Roastery, Manhattan. September 1st, $2,847. Brunello Cucinelli, Men's Clothing, Madison Avenue. September 3rd, $680. The Grill, Dinner. September 5th, $890. Equinox Hudson Yards, Gym Membership Renewal. September 7th, $12,400. NetJets, Private Jet, JFK to Aspen. September 9th, $3,200. St. Regis Aspen, Hotel, 3 nights. September 10th, $1,450. Ajax Tavern, Dinner. September 12th, $4,200. NetJets, Return Flight. September 14th, $500. The Macallan Distillery, Single Malt, 18-year. September 16th, $2,100. Whole Foods, Groceries. September 18th, $847. Lou Bernardine, Dinner. September 20th, $6,800. Tiffany & Co., Jewelry. September 22nd, $890. SoulCycle, Class Package. September 25th, $3,400. American Express, Previous Balance Payment. September 28th, $1,200. Flywheel Sports, Cycling Package. September 30th, $4,650. Four Seasons, Hotel, Miami, 2 nights. I sit back. $47,000 in 30 days. $564,000 per year. While I work 3 jobs to send his mother $300 per month. I cross-reference the dates against my own financial records. September 7th, Julian flies private to Aspen, $12,400. September 8th. I send Beatrice $300 for heating oil. September 20th, Julian buys jewelry at Tiffany, $6,800. September 21st. I work a 12-hour data entry shift for $264. The contrast isn't just cruel. It's surgical. I dig deeper into the card's history. Pull records from 2020, the year Julian died. August 2020, month of his death. August 1st to 13th. Normal spending. Restaurants, gas, groceries. August 14th. No transactions, day of alleged drowning. August 15th to 31st. No transactions. September 1st. $127. Starbucks, first transaction post-death. He waited 18 days. 18 days of being dead, before he felt safe enough to buy a coffee. I find the insurance company records. Cross-reference the dates. The death certificate was filed August 16, 2020. The insurance claim was submitted August 20, 2020. The initial payout, $1 million advance, was received September 15, 2020. Julian's first post-death Starbucks was September 1st. He bought coffee before the insurance money even arrived, which means he was confident. He knew the plan would work. He knew Beatrice would collect. He knew I would never question it. I pull up photos from my own phone. Photos from August 2020. There's one from August 12th. Julian and me at South Street Seaport. He's smiling. Sunglasses. White linen shirt. We're drinking wine. Happy couple. 2 days before he died. There's one from August 16th. Me at Beatrice's cottage. My face is swollen from crying. Beatrice has her arm around me. We're both in black. Behind us, barely visible in the photo's background, is a basement window. I zoom in. There's a shape in the window. Blurry. Could be anything. Could be a person. Could be Julian, watching his own widow cry at his own fake funeral. I close the photo app. Open my banking records. Pull up August 2020. August 18th. Transfer to Beatrice Sterling, $500, funeral expenses. August 25th. Transfer to Beatrice Sterling, $300, first monthly payment. I sent her money 6 days after Julian died. 9 days before the insurance paid out. Beatrice asked me for money while she was waiting for $4 million. My phone buzzes. Text from Beatrice. Sloan, dear. Just wanted to check in before our call tonight. I've been thinking about Julian all day. Some days are harder than others. Missing him so much. See you at 6. Blue heart. I look at the Centurion card statement again. Yesterday's transactions. $127. Starbucks Reserve. $890. Whole Foods. Groceries. $2,100. Brunello Cucinelli. Men's suit. Julian spent $3,117 yesterday. While his mother texted me about missing him. I start a new search. This time I'm looking for physical evidence. Purchases that can be traced to locations. I find the gym membership. Equinox Hudson Yards. I pull up their check-in records. They're networked into the same merchant systems I use for forensic audits. Julian Sterling. Member number 847392. Check-ins per week. 4 to 5. Most frequent times. 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Most recent. Today, 6:47 a.m. He was at the gym this morning. 7 hours ago. In Manhattan. While I was scrubbing mall floors in Brooklyn. I find the Whole Foods transactions. They're all from the same location. Whole Foods Upper East Side, 87th Street. I find the SoulCycle package. Location. SoulCycle Tribeca. I find restaurant reservations. The Centurion card comes with a concierge service that books tables. The reservation records show. September 30th. Lou Bernardine, 8 p.m., party of 2. October 3rd. The Grill, 7:30 p.m., party of 2. October 7th. Masa, 8 p.m., party of 2, reserved, upcoming. Party of 2. Julian isn't dining alone. I pull up the Tiffany & Company transaction from September 20th. $6,800. I call the Fifth Avenue location, using my forensic credentials to request merchant records. The associate puts me on hold. Comes back with details. Yes, ma'am. That transaction was for a platinum engagement ring. Emerald cut. 2.5 carats. Customer picked it up in person on September 21st. Do you have a description of the customer? Male, approximately 35 years old, brown hair. He came in with a woman. Blonde. They seemed very happy. Did you get a name? The card was corporate, so no personal name required. But I remember him because he mentioned it was for a surprise proposal. I thank her. Hang up. Julian bought an engagement ring. Julian, my legally dead husband, bought someone else an engagement ring 2 weeks ago. I pull up my own engagement ring. The one Julian gave me in 2017. White gold. 1 carat. He told me he saved for 6 months to buy it. I had it appraised last year when I was desperate for cash. The jeweler said it was worth maybe $2,000. Probably closer to $1,500. Julian's new fiancé got an emerald-cut platinum ring worth $6,800. I think about that for a long time. Then I open a new document and start writing a list. Evidence of life. Biometric login activity. 532 instances over 5 years. Centurion card spending. $47,382 in 30 days. Gym check-ins, 4 to 5 per week, ongoing. Restaurant reservations, party of 2, ongoing. Engagement ring purchase, September 20th, 2025. Private jet travel, NetJets records, multiple flights. Evidence of fraud. Life insurance payout, $4 million collected under false death claim. Continued trust management, while legally deceased. Corporate entity created pre-death, JSB Consulting LLC. Systematic deception of contingent beneficiary, me. Evidence of intent. 18-day waiting period before first transaction. 5-year sustained pattern of spending. Geographic concentration. Manhattan/Southampton. New relationship, engagement ring, party of 2 reservations. I save the document. Check the time. 5:47 p.m. In 13 minutes, I'm supposed to call Beatrice. I'm supposed to pretend I don't know. I'm supposed to send another $300. Instead, I open my laptop camera. Position it so my apartment is visible in the background. The bare walls, the folding table, the mattress on the floor. And I start recording. My name is Sloane Sterling, I say to the camera. 5 years ago, my husband Julian allegedly drowned in the Caribbean. His body was never recovered. I've been sending his mother $300 every month since his death to help her survive. I hold up the Centurion card statement. This is how Julian spent my money. This is how his mother spent my money. This is what my grief bought them. I list the transactions. The private jets. The $500 whiskey. The engagement ring. I speak for 11 minutes. When I'm done, I save the video. Upload it to cloud storage. And at exactly 6 p.m., I call Beatrice. Some people steal money. Some people steal years. But Julian and Beatrice stole something more precious. The belief that grief should be respected. They turned a funeral into a business plan and a widow into a revenue stream. And if you've ever funded someone's luxury while eating rice over a sink, you know why what Sloane does next isn't confrontation. It's a forensic execution. And they have no idea the audit just closed. Beatrice answers on the second ring. Sloane, dear. I've been waiting for your call. Her voice is warm, concerned, perfectly calibrated. You sounded worried in your text this morning. Is everything all right? I'm sitting on my apartment floor, laptop open in front of me, the Centurion card statement still glowing on the screen. Julian spent $2,100 on a suit yesterday. I'm wearing jeans I bought at Goodwill 3 years ago. I'm okay, I say. My voice trembles. Not fake. Not entirely. I've just been thinking about Julian a lot lately. About the accident. About everything that happened after. Oh, sweetheart. Beatrice makes a soft sound. Something between a sigh and a sob. I think about it every day. 5 years and it still feels like yesterday. The phone call from the Coast Guard. The search. The empty ocean. The empty ocean that Julian never drowned in. That's actually what I wanted to talk about, I say. The financial stuff. The trust. I've been going through some old paperwork and I'm confused about something. Silence. Just for a beat. Then, what kind of paperwork, dear? The Thorn Heritage Fund. Julian told me it was empty. That he'd liquidated everything for his debts. But I found some old statements and, I don't know, maybe I'm reading them wrong, but it looks like there was still money in it when he died. Oh. Beatrice's voice is careful now. Measured. Well, I'm not sure about the details. Julian handled all of that. You know how he was with money. Secretive, especially about the family trust. His grandfather had so many rules about who could access what. Right. But as his widow, wouldn't I have some claim to it? If there was money left. Another pause. Longer. I suppose technically, yes. But Sloane, dear, I really don't think there was anything left. Julian was very clear about that before the accident. He'd made some terrible investments. Lost almost everything. Almost, I repeat. But not everything? I don't know. I'm not good with these things. You'd have to ask the lawyers. I pull up the biometric login records. Julian's thumbprint. 532 logins over 5 years. All from her house. Maybe I will, I say. Ask the lawyers, I mean. Because I've been struggling. Beatrice. Working 3 jobs. Living in this apartment where the heat doesn't work. And if there's money that should have come to me as Julian's spouse. Sloane. Her voice sharpens. Just slightly. I understand you're having a hard time. We both are. But digging into Julian's finances won't bring him back. It won't change what happened. I know. But it might change what happens next. What do you mean? I mean I can't keep sending you money. I lost one of my jobs. The data entry place cut my hours. I'm barely making rent. The lie comes easily. Too easily. Silence. Then, you lost your job? Cut hours. Same thing. When? Last week. More silence. I can hear her breathing. Calculating. Sloane, she says finally. I'm so sorry to hear that. Truly. But you understand my position, don't you? I'm living on a fixed income. Social Security barely covers the mortgage. I've been depending on your help for 5 years. You can't just stop. I'm not stopping. I'm saying I can't send 300 anymore. Maybe 50. Maybe 100 if I pick up extra shifts at the mall. $50? Her voice rises. $50 doesn't even cover the electric bill. What am I supposed to do, Sloane? Sit in the dark? Freeze. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. I'm drowning too. You're drowning. Beatrice laughs. It's not warm anymore. You're 32 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you. I'm 67. I'm alone. My son is dead. My health is failing. And now you're telling me you can't spare $300? After everything I've done for you? Everything you've done for me? I welcomed you into this family. I accepted you when Julian's father never would have. I held you at the funeral. I've been there for you. By asking me for money every month. By giving you a purpose. Her voice is sharp now, all pretense gone. You were lost after Julian died. You were a mess. Sending me that money gave you something to focus on. Gave you a way to honor his memory. And now you want to take that away. I close my eyes. Breathe. I'm not taking anything away. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't have $300 to send anymore. Then get another job. I have 3 jobs. Then work harder. Other people manage. Other people don't fall apart when life gets difficult. Other people don't spend 5 years paying their dead husband's mother while she... I stop myself. While she what? Beatrice's voice is ice. Say it, Sloane. While she what? Nothing. No. You clearly have something to say. So say it. I look at the laptop screen. At the Centurion card statement. At the $47,000 Julian spent last month while his mother performed poverty. While she lives in a house that's paid off, I say quietly. While she drives a Mercedes. While she gets her hair done at a salon that charges $300 for highlights. Dead silence. Then. Have you been spying on me? I've been paying attention. You've been what, driving by my house? Taking photos? What kind of sick? I saw the Instagram post. From your friend Linda. The one where you're having lunch at that restaurant in East Hampton. The one that charges $60 for a salad. I haven't seen any Instagram post. But I'm betting there is one. More silence. That was a birthday gift, Beatrice says finally. Linda treated me. And the car. A trade-in. I got a good deal. And the hair. A splurge. Once every 3 months. Is that a crime? Am I not allowed to take care of myself? Of course you are. I'm just saying maybe you don't need my $300 as desperately as you claim. How dare you? Her voice is shaking now. Rage, not grief. How dare you question what I need? You have no idea what it's like to be my age alone, with a dead son. Your son isn't dead. The words are out before I can stop them. The line goes completely silent. I can hear my own heartbeat. Can hear the drip of my broken faucet. Can hear the upstairs neighbor walking across their floor. What did you say? Beatrice whispers. Nothing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. What did you just say about my son? I said I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm not thinking straight. I've been working doubles and I haven't slept. You said he isn't dead. I didn't. You misheard me. I know what I heard, Sloane. My hands are shaking. I set down the phone. Put it on speaker. Stare at Beatrice's name on the screen. I'm grieving, I say. We both are. Sometimes I say things that don't make sense. Sometimes I dream he's still alive and when I wake up I forget for a second. Stop lying. I'm not. Stop lying. Beatrice's voice cracks like thunder. What do you know? What did you find? Nothing. I don't know anything. You're investigating. You've been digging into the trust. Into the finances. What else have you found? Beatrice, I think we should both calm down. Don't you dare tell me to calm down. Don't you dare gaslight me after what you just said. Either you know something or you're having a mental breakdown. Which is it? I stare at the ceiling. At the water stain that's been there since I moved in. At the crack that runs from the light fixture to the corner. I found the biometric logins, I say quietly. Silence. I found the Centurion card. I found the insurance payout that you said didn't come through. I found 5 years of Julian managing his own trust from your basement while you called me crying about empty cupboards. I hear her breathing. Fast. Shallow. You have no idea what you're talking about, she says. I have login records. IP addresses. Transaction histories. I have evidence of 532 separate instances of Julian accessing that trust. All from your address. All authenticated with his thumbprint. That's impossible. It's documented. You're crazy. You're having some kind of breakdown. Julian is dead. I buried my son. You didn't bury anyone. There was no body. There was no coffin. There was a memorial service where you performed grief while collecting $4 million in life insurance. I'm calling the police. Good. Call them. Because insurance fraud is a crime. Faking a death is a crime. And when they investigate, they'll find everything I found. Plus the criminal penalties. Plus the restitution you'll owe. Beatrice is crying now. Or performing crying. I can't tell the difference anymore. Sloane, please. You don't understand. It's complicated. Julian was in trouble. Real trouble. Dangerous people. We had to fake his death and steal $4 million? Had to protect him. Had to give him a chance to start over. By making me a widow. By taking 5 years of my life. By letting me work myself into the ground while he bought engagement rings for someone else. Engagement rings? Her voice goes very quiet. What are you talking about? Tiffany and Company. September 20th. $6,800. Emerald cut. 2.5 carats. He's getting remarried. Beatrice. Your dead son is proposing to someone while I'm scrubbing mall floors to send you grocery money. I hear something break. Glass. A cup or a vase. Then Beatrice's voice, raw and savage. You self-righteous little bitch. You think you're so smart. You think you've figured everything out. But you have no idea who you're dealing with. I'm dealing with criminals. You're dealing with family. And family protects each other. Which you were never really part of, were you? You were always an outsider. Julian married you because you were convenient. Because you asked the right questions and believed the wrong answers. He married me for my forensic skills. He married you because you were easy to manipulate. And you still are. You really think you can threaten me? Threaten us? You think anyone will believe your crazy conspiracy theories? I think the insurance company will believe the login records. And I think the world will believe that a grieving widow had a mental breakdown and started making up fantasies about her dead husband being alive. I think they'll believe that you've been obsessed with Julian. That you can't let go. That you've been harassing me for years, demanding money, making wild accusations. I have evidence. You have spreadsheets. I have 5 years of text messages where you begged me to let you help. Where you insisted on sending money. Where you told me it was your duty as Julian's widow. She's right. I do have those messages. I sent them. I believed them. Here's what's going to happen, Beatrice continues. You're going to stop this investigation. You're going to delete whatever files you've compiled. You're going to continue sending me $300 every month. And in exchange, I won't destroy your reputation. I won't tell everyone that you've been harassing a grieving mother. I won't have you committed for psychiatric evaluation. You can't. I can. I will. I know judges. I know lawyers. I know people who will testify that you've been unstable since Julian died. That you've been obsessed. That you need help. I have evidence. Evidence that you claim shows my dead son is alive. Do you know how that sounds? Do you know what a jury will think when they hear that? They'll think you're insane. They'll think you've had a breakdown. And by the time you get out of whatever facility they send you to, Julian will be long gone and your evidence will be meaningless. My hands are clenched so tight my nails are cutting into my palms. $300, Beatrice says. Every month. Until I say otherwise. Do we understand each other? Perfectly, I say. Good. I'll expect the check by Friday. She hangs up. I sit there holding the phone. She just threatened to have me committed. She just confirmed everything. She just told me exactly what she'll do if I expose them. And she has no idea I recorded every word. There's a specific kind of villain who doesn't realize they're confessing. Who gets so confident in their power that they explain exactly how they're going to destroy you. Beatrice just drew the entire map of her crimes while threatening Sloane into silence. And if you've ever had someone use your kindness as evidence of weakness, you know why the next move isn't retreat. It's documentation. And in 3 days, that recording becomes Exhibit A. I leave my apartment at 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday. The drive from Astoria to Southampton takes 93 minutes. I've mapped it 6 times. Checked traffic patterns. Noted the locations of every security camera, every toll booth, every potential witness. I'm not going to confront them. I'm going to confirm they exist. The car I'm driving isn't mine. It's a rental, paid for in cash, registered under a corporate account I created specifically for this. No paper trail. No connection to Sloane Sterling, grieving widow. The highway is empty. Just me and long-haul truckers and people driving home from jobs that don't end until midnight. I keep the radio off. The silence helps me think. I've spent the past 3 days preparing. Not just emotionally. Tactically. I hired a private investigator. Not Dennis. Someone new, someone who specializes in surveillance and doesn't ask questions. His name is Marcus. He cost $5,000 for a week of work, paid from a savings account I emptied completely. Marcus confirmed what I already knew. Julian enters and exits Beatrice's house 4 to 5 times per week. He drives a Tesla Model 3, black, registered to JSB Consulting LLC. He goes to the gym at 6 a.m. He has dinner with a woman, blonde, early 30s, twice a week. He never stays out past 11 p.m. Which means right now, at 1:20 a.m., he should be in the basement. I also purchased equipment. Thermal imaging camera, $800 on eBay. High-resolution night vision binoculars, $400. Voice-activated recording devices, $200 for 3. Lockpick set, $150. The lockpicks were the hardest to justify. Because using them means I'm crossing a line from investigation to breaking and entering. But I crossed that line the moment Beatrice threatened to have me committed. I exit the highway at Southampton. Drive through the quiet streets of a town where the median home price is $2.3 million. Past boutiques that sell $400 candles. Past restaurants where the wine list starts at $200 per bottle. Past the life Julian bought with my grief. Beatrice's cottage is on Meadow Lane, not oceanfront, but close enough that she can tell people she lives near the water. The house is small by Hampton standards. Maybe 2,000 square feet. Blue shutters. White clapboard siding. The kind of place that looks charming in daylight and sinister at 1:30 a.m. I park 3 houses down. Kill the engine. Sit in darkness. The cottage is dark except for one light. Basement level, eastern window. I pull out the thermal imaging camera. Point it at the house. 2 heat signatures appear on the screen. First floor. 1 signature. Beatrice's bedroom. She's asleep. Basement. 1 signature. Larger. Moving. Pacing maybe. Julian. I watch him move across the screen. Orange and red pixels shifting. He walks from one end of the basement to the other. Stops. Walks back. He's awake. Active. I check the time. 1:34 a.m. I pull up the Thorn Heritage Fund login records on my phone. Cross-reference the timestamps. Last login. Today. 1:22 a.m. 12 minutes ago. He's managing the trust right now. Moving money. Paying bills. Living his secret life while the world thinks he's dead. I put down the thermal camera. Pick up the night vision binoculars. The basement window is small. Partially below ground level. Curtains drawn but not completely closed. A 2-inch gap at the bottom. Through the gap I can see. A desk with 2 monitors. A mini fridge. A bed unmade. Clothing on the floor. And Julian. He's wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. His hair is longer than it was in our wedding photos. He has a beard now. Close-cropped. Neat. He looks healthy. Well-fed. Comfortable. He's sitting at the desk, typing on a laptop. The monitors show what look like financial spreadsheets. I watch him work for 11 minutes. Then he stands. Stretches. Walks to the mini fridge. Pulls out a beer. Expensive craft beer. The kind that comes in bottles with ornate labels. He drinks it while looking at his phone. Smiling at something on the screen. Then he types a message. Sets down the phone. Goes back to the laptop. My phone buzzes. For one insane second, I think he's texting me. But it's not Julian. It's a notification from the voice-activated recorder I mailed to Beatrice's house 3 days ago. I sent it in a package marked, Return to Sender. Insufficient postage. Made it look like a delivery mistake. The box contained a small device hidden inside a book. A hollowed-out hardcover copy of a gardening manual. I gambled that Beatrice would open it. That she'd keep the book. That she'd put it somewhere public. The notification means the device detected voices. I open the app. The recording is uploading in real time. Beatrice. Don't care what she thinks she found. She can't prove anything. Julian. She has login records, Mom. IP addresses. Biometric data. Beatrice. So what? She's a forensic accountant, not a lawyer. She doesn't understand how this works. Julian. She understands enough to threaten you. Beatrice. Empty threats. She won't go to the police. She won't risk looking insane. Julian. You sure about that? Beatrice. I've been handling Sloane for 5 years. She's predictable. Soft. She'll send the money. She always sends the money. Pause. Julian. What if she doesn't? What if she actually goes to the insurance company? Beatrice. Then we disappear. You disappear. We've been planning for this scenario. Julian. I like my life here. Beatrice. Then make sure Sloane stays quiet. Julian. How? Beatrice. You're the one who married her. You figure it out. The recording cuts off. Motion detected. Then silence. I sit in the car, hands shaking. They're not panicking. They're strategizing. They're treating my discovery like a problem to manage, not a crime to confess. I put down the phone. Pick up the lockpick set. I've been watching YouTube tutorials for 3 days. Practicing on my own apartment door. The mechanism is simple. Tension wrench, pick, gentle pressure, feel for the pins. I've never actually broken into someone else's house. There's a first time for everything. I get out of the car. Walk quietly up the driveway. The gravel crunches under my shoes. Too loud. I step onto the grass. Better. The front door is out. Too visible from the street. But the side door, the one that leads to the mudroom, is hidden by an overgrown hedge. I kneel in front of it. Pull out the tension wrench and pick. My hands are shaking so badly I drop the pick twice. Breathe. Focus. I insert the wrench. Apply gentle pressure. Insert the pick. Feel for the pins. The first pin sets with a soft click. Second pin. Third pin. Fourth pin doesn't budge. I try again. The pick slips. I have to start over. Second attempt. 3 pins. Fourth pin. Fifth pin. Click. The lock turns. I'm inside. The mudroom is dark. Smells like lavender and old wood. I close the door silently behind me. I can hear the house breathing. The hum of the refrigerator. The creak of old floorboards settling. And from below, very faintly. Typing. Julian is still working. I move through the mudroom into the kitchen. The layout is familiar from the photos Marcus took. Sink on the left. Island in the center. Basement door to the right. The basement door is closed but not locked. I put my hand on the knob. This is the moment. Once I open this door, once I walk down those stairs, there's no pretending anymore. No investigating from a distance. This becomes real. I turn the knob. The door opens silently. Recently oiled hinges. Beatrice is meticulous about maintenance. The stairs are wooden. Old. They'll creak. I take them one at a time, putting my weight on the edges where the boards are most stable. Moving like a ghost. Halfway down, I can see the basement. It's finished. Carpeted. A full apartment. Bedroom area, bathroom, kitchenette, office space. Nicer than my actual apartment. Julian sits at his desk, back to the stairs. Headphones on. He's watching something on one of the monitors. A video, maybe YouTube, I can't tell. I reach the bottom stair. I'm 10 feet behind him. He doesn't know I'm here. I could leave now. I've confirmed he's alive. I've seen the basement. I have enough evidence to. Julian takes off his headphones. Turns around. Sees me. For 3 seconds. Neither of us moves. Then he says very quietly, "Sloane." There are moments when reality and nightmare collide. When the ghost you've been chasing turns around and looks at you. When 5 years of grief dissolve into a single word. Your name, spoken by a dead man in a basement. And if you've ever confronted the lie that destroyed your life, you know the moment isn't dramatic. It's silent. It's 2 people staring at each other across a carpeted floor, both knowing that everything changes now. Julian sets down his headphones. We stare at each other. He looks older. Not much. 5 years isn't long, but there are lines around his eyes that weren't there before. His beard is new. His hair touches his collar. He's wearing a Columbia University sweatshirt I've never seen. "How did you find me?" he asks. His voice is calm. Curious. Like I'm a puzzle he's trying to solve. "Biometric login records," I say. "Your thumbprint. 532 times over 5 years. Always from this address." He nods slowly. "You're good at your job." "I'm good at finding hidden money." "That's what I do." "I know. That's why I married you." The words hit like a slap. "Excuse me." Julian stands. He's taller than I remember. Or maybe I've shrunk. Maybe 5 years of breaking myself down into someone small enough to fit through the cracks of survival has made me physically smaller. "Come on, Sloane. You're smart. You had to know." He gestures at the basement, at his setup, at the life he's built in secret. The forensic skills. The attention to detail. The ability to track money through shell corporations and offshore accounts. "That's why I married you. You married me because you loved me. I married you because you were useful. And you were. For a while." I feel something crack inside my chest. Not my heart. That broke 5 years ago. Something else. The foundation I built my survival on. The belief that somewhere under all the lies, Julian had cared about me. The gambling debts, I say. Were those real? Very real. I owed some extremely unpleasant people a lot of money. The kind of people who don't accept payment plans. "So you faked your death." I strategically restructured my existence. He smiles. Faking death sounds so criminal. I prefer to think of it as aggressive asset protection. "You collected $4 million in life insurance." "Mom collected it. Technically. I don't have access to it while I'm legally deceased. The Thorn Heritage Fund was mine before I died. Still mine after. Dead men can't own trusts, but the trust itself doesn't die. It just transfers to the designated manager, which is Mom, who happens to let me access it whenever I need. He's explaining this like it's a clever business strategy. Like fraud is just creative accounting. You let me think you drowned. I let everyone think that. It wasn't personal. I'm your wife. You were my wife. Technically, you're my widow now. Which is actually perfect, because widows can't be compelled to testify against their deceased spouses in matters relating to the estate. I stare at him. You married me for spousal privilege? I married you for a lot of reasons. That was one of them. He walks to the mini fridge. Pulls out another beer. Doesn't offer me one. Want to sit? You look like you might fall over. I'm fine standing. Suit yourself. He opens the beer. Takes a long drink. So, now you know. Question is, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to the police. No, you're not. I have evidence. Login records. Financial transactions. Recordings of you and Beatrice discussing the fraud. You have circumstantial data that proves someone accessed my trust from this address. Could be anyone. Could be Mom managing the estate. Could be a financial advisor. Could be a hacker. He shrugs. You don't have proof I'm alive. I'm looking at you right now. Are you? Or are you having a breakdown? Grief-induced psychosis? 5 years of working 3 jobs, barely sleeping, slowly losing your grip on reality. He tilts his head. That's what Mom will tell the police. That you've been obsessed with me. That you've been harassing her. That you broke into her house in the middle of the night claiming to see your dead husband. I'm recording this conversation. No, you're not. I can see your pockets. No phone. No recorder. He's right. I left my phone in the car. Didn't want the GPS tracking me inside the house. Stupid. Besides, Julian continues, even if you were recording, it's inadmissible. New York is a 2-party consent state. Anything you recorded without my knowledge is illegal and unusable in court. He's thought of everything. Of course he has. He's had 5 years to plan. The insurance company will investigate, I say. Let them. They'll find a death certificate signed by a medical examiner. They'll find Coast Guard records of a search. They'll find witness statements from the marina. They'll find everything properly documented. You bribed the medical examiner. I have no idea what you're talking about. Dr. Marcus Whitmore. He signed your death certificate. Dr. Whitmore is a respected professional. If you're suggesting he falsified official documents, you better have proof. And if you make that accusation without proof, that's defamation. That's a lawsuit. That's you losing everything you have left. My hands are shaking. I clench them into fists. Why? I ask. Why fake your death instead of just divorcing me? Why put me through 5 years of grief? Because divorce is expensive. Divorces come with asset division. You would have gotten half of everything. This way. He gestures around the basement. This way I keep everything and you get to play the sympathetic widow. Win-win. Win-win. Don't look at me like that. You benefited too. You got sympathy. You got to be the brave young widow moving forward with her life. People admire that. You probably got promotions at work because your boss felt bad for you. I got 3 jobs because I was sending your mother $300 every month. Yeah, about that. Julian's face darkens. You need to stop investigating Mom. She's stressed. Her blood pressure is through the roof. And it's your fault. My fault. You're harassing her. Threatening her. Making wild accusations. She's 67 years old. She doesn't need this stress. She's spending my money on designer clothes while I eat rice. She's spending insurance money that she's legally entitled to. You're not entitled to anything. The policy named her as beneficiary. I'm the contingent beneficiary. Which means you only inherit if she dies. And she's not dead. She's very much alive. Stressed but alive. I want to hit him. I want to grab one of those expensive beer bottles and smash it across his face. I want to scream. I want to destroy this basement apartment the way he destroyed my life. Instead, I say, "You bought an engagement ring." Julian goes very still. September 20th. I continue. Tiffany & Company. $6,800. Emerald cut. 2.5 carats. You're getting remarried. That's none of your business. You're legally married to me. I'm legally dead. Dead men don't have wives. They have widows. Bigamy is a crime. Only if you can prove I'm alive. Which you can't. He sets down his beer. Look, Sloane. I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to explain the situation so you understand why you need to walk away. I'm not walking away. You don't have a choice. You have no evidence that would hold up in court. You have no witnesses. You have no documentation that proves anything except that you've been obsessed with a dead man for 5 years. The login records are not proof of life. They're proof someone accessed an account. That's it. The Centurion card is registered to a corporation. Not to me personally. The gym check-ins. Could be anyone. Could be someone using my old membership. Gyms don't verify ID. He's countering every point. Every piece of evidence I thought was solid. Here's what's going to happen, Julian says. You're going to leave this house. You're going to delete whatever files you've compiled. You're going to stop harassing my mother. And you're going to go back to your normal life. My normal life is 3 jobs and an apartment where the heat doesn't work. That's not my problem. You made it my problem. You made me a widow. You took 5 years of my life. I gave you a purpose. Before me, what were you? A forensic accountant at a mid-tier firm. Boring job. Boring life. I made you interesting. I made you sympathetic. I gave you a story. You gave me grief. Grief makes people interesting. He picks up his beer again. Trust me, Sloane. Walk away. Move on. Find someone new. Live your life. Because if you keep pushing this, if you keep threatening Mom, if you keep trying to expose me, you won't like what happens next. Is that a threat? It's a fact. I have lawyers. I have money. I have documentation of your erratic behavior. I have 5 years of you willingly sending money to my mother, which makes you look obsessed, not victimized. And I have a judge who's known my family for 30 years and will absolutely sign a psychiatric hold if Mom requests one. You can't have me committed. I can't. I'm dead. But Mom can. And she will. 72-hour evaluation. Maybe longer if the doctors think you're a danger to yourself or others. And breaking into someone's house at 2 in the morning? That qualifies as dangerous behavior. I realize with cold clarity that he's right. He's thought of everything. Every counter-argument. Every legal loophole. Every way to make me look crazy while he looks dead. I spent 5 years mourning you, I whisper. I appreciate that. I worked myself half to death to support your mother. She appreciated that too. I loved you. I know. Julian finishes his beer. Sets down the bottle. And that's why this worked. Because you loved me enough to believe anything I said. To accept any explanation. To send money you didn't have to a woman you barely knew. He walks toward me. Stops 3 feet away. Go home, Sloane. Delete the files. Forget you found me. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll find someone who actually loves you back. I look at him. At this man I married. At this ghost who destroyed my life and is now explaining why I can't do anything about it. And I smile. What's funny, he asks. You. Me. You think you've won. You think you've covered every angle. You think I'm just going to walk away. You are. Because you don't have a choice. Julian, I say softly, I'm a forensic accountant. Find hidden money for a living. I trace assets through shell corporations and offshore accounts and trust structures designed by lawyers who are smarter than you. So you're not as clever as you think. And I'm not as broken as you need me to be. His smile fades. What did you do? I did my job. I audited your life. And I found something you didn't know was missing. What? I lean in close. Whisper 5 words. I already filed the succession. Julian's face goes white. Some people think being dead gives them power. That absence creates untouchability. But Julian forgot one critical detail. Dead men can't own property. Dead men can't control trusts. And when someone is legally deceased, their estate passes to their lawful heirs. Sloane didn't just find Julian. She inherited him. And if you've ever watched a con artist realize they've been out-conned, you know the silence that follows isn't surrender. It's math. Cold, precise legal math. Julian grabs my arm. What do you mean you filed succession? His grip is tight. Too tight. I don't pull away. I just look at his hand on my arm, then at his face. You're hurting me, I say calmly. He releases me. Steps back. Answer the question. Julian Sterling died August 14, 2020. Death certificate on file with Nassau County. Remains lost at sea. No will. No transfer on death designations. Under New York intestacy law, his estate passes to his surviving spouse. I don't have an estate. The trust. The Thorne Heritage Fund is not yours. It was yours. Past tense. When you died, beneficial ownership transferred according to the trust succession clause, which states that upon the death of the primary beneficiary without issue, the trust passes to the surviving spouse. You can't. I can. I did. I filed the succession petition 3 days ago. The court date is set for October 15th. 17 days from now. Julian's face has gone from white to gray. That's not possible. Mom is the trustee. She would have been notified. She was. Certified mail. Delivered yesterday at 2:47 p.m. I imagine she hasn't told you yet because she's still trying to figure out how to handle it. He's breathing fast now. Shallow. You can't claim the trust. I'm alive. I'm the beneficiary. No, you're not. You're legally dead. Dead people can't own property. They can't manage trusts. They can't access financial accounts. I pull out my phone. Show him the screen. These are the succession documents. Petition for transfer of trust administration. Affidavit of death. Probate filing. All properly executed. All legally binding. This is insane. I'm standing right here. I'm alive. Then prove it. Silence. Go to the court on October 15th. I continue. Tell the judge you're Julian Sterling. Show your ID. Provide your fingerprints. Prove you're alive. And the moment you do, you'll be arrested for insurance fraud, document falsification, and conspiracy to commit fraud. The insurance company will sue for the $4 million+ penalties. The state will prosecute. You'll spend 7 to 10 years in prison. You're bluffing. I'm a forensic accountant. I don't bluff. I document. I pull up another file on my phone. This is the insurance fraud report I filed with the National Insurance Crime Bureau. This is the criminal complaint I filed with the New York Attorney General's office. This is the evidence package I sent to the IRS, because I'm certain you haven't been paying taxes on the trust income while you were dead. Julian sits down. Hard. On the edge of his bed. You can't do this. I already did. Mom will fight it. She'll contest the succession. On what grounds? That her dead son is actually alive? Great. Let her make that argument in court. I'll bring the biometric login records. The Centurion card statements. The gym check-ins. The engagement ring receipt. Every piece of evidence I've compiled. And the judge will ask her one question. If Julian is alive, where is he? She'll say you're crazy. She can try. But I have documentation. Timestamps. Financial records. And you know what else I have. I pull up the recording from our phone call. Play it. Beatrice. You self-righteous little bitch. You think anyone will believe your crazy conspiracy theories? Me, I think the insurance company will believe the login records. Beatrice. I think they'll believe that you've been obsessed with Julian. That you can't let go. I stop the playback. That's Beatrice confirming she knows you're alive. That's her threatening me to keep quiet. That's conspiracy. That recording is illegal. Two-party consent. Wrong. I was a party to that call. and New York law allows one-party consent for phone conversations. The recording is completely admissible. Julian stands. Paces. His hands are shaking. What do you want? I want the trust. All of it. Transferred to my control. That's $3 million. $3.2 million. Plus the insurance payout that Beatrice collected. Plus restitution for the 5 years of fraud. Total claim. Approximately $8 million. We don't have $8 million. You have assets. The trust. The house. The Tesla. The Centurion card credit line. Beatrice's Mercedes. I'll settle for what's available. And if we give you everything? Then I don't pursue criminal charges. I drop the succession petition. I walk away and you two can figure out how to survive without my $300 a month. Julian laughs. It's a broken sound. You want us to give you everything and just disappear? No. I want you to give me what I'm owed. What I should have received when you died. What I would have received if Beatrice hadn't committed fraud. She's my mother. She's a criminal. So are you. I put my phone away. Here's how this works. On October 15th, you have 2 choices. Choice 1, show up at court, prove you're alive, get arrested. Choice 2, stay dead, let the trust transfer to me, and find a new way to fund your secret life. There's a third choice. What's that? We run. Disappear. Go somewhere you can't find us. With what money? I've already frozen the trust accounts. Filed an emergency injunction based on suspected fraud. No one can withdraw funds until the succession hearing. You can't freeze accounts you don't control. I can when I provide evidence of ongoing criminal activity. The judge signed the order yesterday. The accounts are locked. Julian stares at me. How long have you been planning this? 5 years. I just didn't know it until 3 weeks ago. He sits back down. Puts his head in his hands. I'm going to lose everything, he says. You already did. 5 years ago. When you chose to fake your death instead of just being honest with me. I couldn't be honest. I owed dangerous people money. They would have killed me. So you let me pay for your mistakes instead. I didn't ask you to send Mom money. You created a situation where I felt obligated to. Where I thought it was my duty as your widow. You manipulated me for 5 years. I survived for 5 years. At my expense. Julian looks up. His eyes are red. What about the engagement ring? What about it? The woman I bought it for. She doesn't know about any of this. She thinks I'm someone else. Someone legitimate. Then you should probably tell her the truth. Before she marries a dead man. She'll leave me. Probably. But at least she'll have a choice. Which is more than you gave me. Footsteps overhead. Heavy. Fast. Beatrice is awake. Julian. Her voice drifts down the stairs. Julian, are you awake? We need to talk about. She appears at the top of the stairs. Sees me. Stops. What is she doing here? She found me, Julian says quietly. How? How did you get in my house? I picked the lock. Breaking and entering. Add it to my list of crimes. I look at her. Did you get the succession petition? Beatrice's face hardens. You can't have the trust. I can. I will. The law is very clear. That trust was established for Julian. For the Sterling family. You're not a Sterling. You were never really family. I was family enough to send you $19,000 over 5 years. That was your choice. It was manipulation. It was fraud. It was you and Julian working together to bleed me dry while pretending to grieve. Prove it. I pull out my phone. Pull up the recording of our call. Play it. Beatrice. She's predictable. Soft. She'll send the money. She always sends the money. Julian, what if she actually goes to the insurance company? Beatrice. Then we disappear. You disappear. We've been planning for this scenario. I stop the playback. That's you and Julian discussing insurance fraud. That's conspiracy. That's both of you going to prison. Beatrice comes down the stairs. Slowly. She's wearing a silk robe. Her hair is in curlers. She looks older than 67. Tired. What do you want? She asks. The trust. The insurance money. Everything you stole. We didn't steal anything. The insurance was legally paid. Based on a fraudulent death claim. Which means every dollar is subject to restitution. Plus penalties. Plus interest. You'll never prove Julian is alive. I don't have to. I just have to prove you collected insurance money under false pretenses. The biometric logins do that. The login records show someone with Julian's thumbprint accessing his accounts after his legal death. That's fraud whether he's alive or not. Beatrice looks at Julian. Is this true? She can take everything? She already has, Julian says. She froze the accounts. Filed succession. Submitted evidence to every relevant authority. We're done, Mom. No. Beatrice's voice is sharp. No, we're not done. We fight this. We get lawyers. We. With what money? The accounts are frozen. We can't afford lawyers. We'll use the house. We'll take a loan. The house is in the trust. She's claiming the house too. Beatrice turns to me. You're taking my home? I'm taking what I'm legally entitled to. What I should have received when Julian died. What you denied me by committing fraud. This house has been in my family for 40 years. Then you should have thought about that before you helped your son fake his death. You vindictive little. Careful, I say softly. I'm still recording. Anything you say right now can be used as evidence of your intent and state of mind. Beatrice's mouth snaps shut. We stand there in the basement. The three of us. The dead husband. The defrauded widow. The criminal mother. October 15th, I say. Court hearing. You have 2 weeks to decide. Show up and prove Julian is alive. Get arrested. Stay away and let the succession proceed. Lose everything. Either way, I win. This isn't over, Beatrice says. Yes, I say. It is. I walk past them. Up the stairs. Through the kitchen. Out the side door. I don't look back. I get in my rental car. Drive away from the cottage. Away from Meadow Lane. Away from the life Julian built on my grief. And I don't cry. I don't scream. I just drive. Because I'm not sad. I'm not angry. I'm victorious. And in 2 weeks, when the court awards me everything they stole, I'll finally be free. There's a specific kind of justice that doesn't involve jail time or dramatic arrests. It's legal. Precise. Mathematical. It's using the same rules that protected criminals to strip them of everything they stole. Julian thought being dead made him untouchable. But he forgot that dead men don't own anything. And their widows inherit everything. If you've ever taken back what someone stole from you using nothing but paperwork and patience, you know victory doesn't roar. It signs documents. And cashes checks. The court hearing takes 11 minutes. October 15th, 10 a.m., Nassau County Sagat's Court. The room is small, wood-paneled, smelling like old paper and legal precedent. I sit at the petitioner's table with my lawyer, a trust and estates attorney named Dr. Patricia Chen, who charged me $400 an hour and was worth every dollar. The respondent's table is empty. Beatrice didn't show. Julian didn't show. The judge, a woman in her 60s with reading glasses on a chain, reviews the petition. The death certificate. The trust documents. The affidavit of no contest. Ms. Sterling, she says, looking at me over her glasses. You're petitioning for transfer of beneficial ownership of the Thorne Heritage Fund based on intestacy succession following your husband's death in 2020? Yes, Your Honor. And the trustee, Beatrice Sterling, has filed no objection? No objection, Your Honor. She was properly served. She chose not to appear. The judge makes a note. And you're seeking full administration rights, including the ability to dissolve the trust and distribute assets? Yes, Your Honor. On what grounds? The trust was established with specific succession language that designates the surviving spouse as the contingent beneficiary. My husband died intestate. I'm his lawful widow. The succession is automatic. The judge reads through more paperwork. Signs something. Stamps it. Petition granted. Trust administration transfers to Sloan Sterling effective immediately. Ms. Sterling, you'll receive certified copies of the order within 5 business days. That's it. 11 minutes. 5 years of grief. $18,000 in payments. 3 jobs. Endless exhaustion. Resolved in 11 minutes. I stand. Thank you, Your Honor. Outside the courthouse, Patricia shakes my hand. Congratulations, she says. You now control $3.2 million, plus the house, plus any other assets held in the trust. What happens to Beatrice? She can continue living in the house if the trust allows. But you control whether she stays or goes. You control everything now. And the insurance fraud investigation? That's separate. The Attorney General's office will pursue criminal charges independently. But with the trust transferred, they can't claim you have a financial motive for the accusations. You're just a widow who discovered her husband's death might have been faked. Might have been. Patricia smiles. Might have been. Unless he shows up to contest the succession. Which he won't. Because that would require proving he's alive. Catch 22. Beautiful, isn't it? I drive back to Manhattan alone. Park the rental car. Return it to the agency. Take the subway home to Astoria. My apartment looks the same. Mattress on the floor. Folding table. Dripping faucet. But it feels different. I sit on the floor. Open my laptop. Log into the Thorn Heritage Fund. The balance. $3,287,492.67. All mine now. Legally. Irrevocably. Mine. I could pay off my debt. Quit my jobs. Move to a real apartment with heat and furniture. I could do anything. Instead, I make a list. Priority 1. Housing. Pay off apartment lease early. $4,200. First/last/ security on new apartment. 2BR, doorman building, Upper West Side $18,000. Furniture, real bed, couch, table, actual adult things $15,000. Priority 2. Career. Quit data entry job immediately. Quit mall cleaning job immediately. Negotiate part-time arrangement with Hartwell and Associates. Take 3 months off to recover. Priority 3. Justice. Cooperate fully with Attorney General's investigation. Provide all evidence against Julian and Beatrice. Testify if needed. Priority 4. Restitution. Document all payments made to Beatrice. $19,200. Add interest, 5% annually over 5 years $4,800. Total owed. $24,000. Deduct from Beatrice's allowance until paid in full. Priority 5. The future. Therapy, I need it. Vacation, I deserve it. Figure out who I am when I'm not just surviving. I save the list. Then I call my boss at the data entry company. This is Sloan Sterling. I'm calling to submit my resignation effective immediately. Sloan, is everything okay? You've been with us for 5 years. Everything's fine. I've had a change in financial circumstances. Thank you for the opportunity. I hang up. Call them all. Rick, it's Sloan. I quit. You can't just quit. You have to give 2 weeks. I hang up. Then I call Hartwell and Associates. Ask for my boss. David, it's Sloan. I need to adjust my schedule. I'm going part-time. 20 hours per week maximum. Part-time? Sloan, you're one of our best auditors. Is this about money? Because we can discuss a raise. It's not about money. It's about time. I've spent 5 years working 80-hour weeks. I'm done. Silence. Then. Okay. We'll work something out. You've earned it. Thank you. I hang up. Sit in my apartment. It's 2:47 p.m. on a Wednesday. Normally I'd be at the data entry job right now, typing insurance claims until my fingers went numb. Instead, I'm sitting here. Free. My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer. Ms. Sterling? This is Detective Rodriguez with the New York Attorney General's Insurance Fraud Unit. We received your complaint regarding Julian Sterling and Beatrice Sterling. I'd like to schedule an interview to go over the evidence. When? Are you available tomorrow? I'm available every day. I just quit 2 of my 3 jobs. Congratulations. How about 10 a.m. at our Manhattan office? I'll be there. I hang up. The apartment is very quiet. For 5 years, I've lived with constant noise. The drip of the faucet. The upstairs neighbor's footsteps. The hum of exhaustion in my own head. Now it's quiet. And I realize I don't know what to do with quiet. I stand up. Walk to the bathroom. Look at myself in the mirror. I look the same. Blonde hair in a ponytail. Bloodshot eyes. Pale skin. But I'm different. I'm not a widow anymore. I'm not a victim. I'm just Sloan. Forensic accountant. Survivor. Woman who spent 5 years paying for a dead man's scotch and finally got every dollar back. My phone buzzes. Email notification. It's from Beatrice. Subject. Please. Sloan, I know you're angry. I know we hurt you. But please don't take the house. It's all I have left. Julian is gone. He left yesterday, said he was going to Canada, said he couldn't stay knowing you'd report him. I'm alone now. Please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. B. I read it 3 times. Then I reply. Beatrice, the house is held in the Thorn Heritage Fund. I now control the fund. You may continue residing in the property under the following conditions. 1. You repay the $19,200 I sent you over 5 years, plus interest, total $24,000. Payment plan. $500 per month for 48 months. 2. You cooperate fully with the Attorney General's investigation into insurance fraud. 3. You never contact me again except regarding official trust business. If you violate any of these conditions, you'll be evicted immediately. You have 48 hours to accept these terms. Sloan. I hit send. 3 minutes later, she replies. I accept. Thank you. I'm sorry. I don't reply. Instead, I open a new browser window. Search for apartments. Real apartments. The kind with heat and dishwashers and windows that don't face a brick wall. I find one in the Upper West Side. 2-bedroom, renovated kitchen, doorman, laundry and building. $4,800 per month. 6 months ago that would have been impossible. Today, I schedule a viewing for tomorrow afternoon. Then I do something I haven't done in 5 years. I order dinner. Real dinner. From a restaurant. Not rice. Not a granola bar. Pad Thai from the Thai place on the corner. $18.47. I don't even check my bank balance first. The food arrives 30 minutes later. I eat it at my folding table, and it's the best meal I've ever had. Not because the food is exceptional. Because I'm not counting the cost. Because I'm not calculating how many hours I work to afford it. Because I'm free. My phone rings again. This time I recognize the number. Detective Rodriguez. Ms. Sterling, quick update. We executed a search warrant on Beatrice Sterling's residence this afternoon. We found extensive documentation of the fraud. Julian Sterling's identification documents, passport, financial records. Everything we need for criminal charges. Is Beatrice under arrest? Not yet. We're building the case. But she will be. She'll likely face 5 to 7 years. Julian Sterling, if we can locate him, will face 10 to 15. You won't find Julian. He'll disappear. Maybe. But he can't hide forever. Not with biometric databases, facial recognition, digital footprints. Eventually he'll surface. And when he does, we'll be waiting. Good. Ms. Sterling? One more thing. What you did. Documenting everything, preserving evidence, building the case, that was exceptional work. Have you ever considered working in law enforcement? We could use someone with your skills. I'll think about it. Please do. I hang up. Consider it. Forensic accounting for the Attorney General's office. Taking down white-collar criminals. Using my skills for justice instead of just survival. I add it to my list. Then I close my laptop. Walk to the window. Look out at Astoria. This neighborhood has been my home for 5 years. The place I ran to after Julian died. The place where I broke myself down into someone small enough to fit through the cracks. I don't need to fit through cracks anymore. In 2 weeks, I'm moving to the Upper West Side. To a 2-bedroom apartment with a sage green kitchen. I specifically requested sage green. The color of growth. The color of money that finally belongs to me. The color of justice. My phone buzzes one more time. Text from an unknown number. You won. Congratulations. I hope you're happy. J. Julian. I stare at the message. Then I type. I'm not happy. Not yet. But I'm free. And that's better than happy. It's earned. I hit send. Block the number. And I start packing. 6 months later. The apartment has heat. That's what I notice every morning. The heat works. The faucet doesn't drip. The windows face Central Park. I'm not rich. 3 million becomes 2 million after taxes and legal fees. But I invested it. Index funds. Real estate. Enough to work 20 hours a week because I want to. Not because I'll starve. Beatrice makes her payments. $500 every month. 42 months left. She'll be 71 when she finishes. Julian disappeared. Canada, probably. Living under a fake name. Running from fraud charges that will follow him forever. I don't think about him much anymore. I'm in therapy. Twice a week. Learning who I am when I'm not just surviving. I took a vacation. Portugal. 3 weeks. Didn't check my bank balance once. I learned to cook again. Real meals. For myself. And I met someone. David. A teacher. No money, no trust fund, no secrets. Just real. We met at a bookstore, reaching for the same Hemingway novel. My late husband collected these, I said. I'm sorry. Don't be. He died 5 years ago. I'm past it now. Mostly true. Today, Detective Rodriguez calls with news. Beatrice pled guilty. 4 years at Bedford Hills. Julian's in Vancouver under an alias. They'll find him eventually. I don't feel triumphant. I feel quiet. I open my laptop. Pull up the document I've been writing. The Forensic Widow's Guide to Taking Everything Back. 147 pages. Legal precedents. Documentation strategies. Everything I learned. I'm publishing it for free. Because somewhere, right now, someone is sending $300 to a person who doesn't need it. Someone is working 3 jobs while a relative spends their grief. Someone is being told they're crazy. I want them to know, you're not crazy. You're being conned. And you can take it all back. I add the final line. Winning doesn't feel dramatic. It feels quiet. Like waking up and realizing you're not angry anymore. You're just yourself. And that's enough. I save the document. My phone buzzes. Text from David. Dinner tonight? I'm making pasta from scratch. I smile. Type back. Just bring yourself, he says. Just myself. 5 years ago, myself wasn't enough. Today myself is everything. I put on my sage green sweater. The color of growth. The color of justice. The color of a woman who paid for a dead man's life with her own, and took every dollar back. The end. Fire, don't let this be you, fire. If this story made your stomach turn, if you saw yourself in Sloan, sending money you can't afford to people who don't deserve it, stop. You're not helping. You're being harvested. Subscribe now and never miss another story that exposes the con artists hiding in your family tree. Because the next video? It's about the mother-in-law who faked cancer for 5 years. Hit that subscribe button. Because knowledge isn't just power. It's protection. And the parasites in your life are counting on you staying ignorant. Subscribe. Before you send another check you can't afford.